Before engines roared across America, Detroit hummed with hammers, steam whistles, and the restless dream of a new century. In this video, we step into Detroit in the year 1910, a city standing on the edge of transformation. Here, on the banks of the Detroit River, progress has a sound, the whistle of factories at dawn, the clatter of hooves on wet pavement, the rising hum of the machine age. Within a single generation, this industrial town will become the nucleus of America's automotive empire. But right now, in this brief moment between centuries, it remains a city caught between two worlds, half Victorian, half modern, built from brick, timber, and ambition. The morning begins with movement. The sky glows red over the river, and long columns of workers stream toward the factories. Men in flat caps and heavy coats carry metal lunch pails, walking through fog that smells of oil and coal. Horses and wagons still dominate the streets, yet the distant growl of an early automobile cuts through their rhythm. Along Woodward Avenue, the city's main artery, a Ford Model T rattles past trolleys and pedestrians. Heads turn. For a moment, everything else stops. The future has just passed by. Factory whistles pierce the air again. Inside the brick walls of Ford, Packard, and Cadillac plants, the work begins. The noise is relentless, hammers striking steel, belts spinning on pulleys, molten metal poured into molds. Sparks flash in the dim light. Thousands of men labor side by side in the roaring dark, each one part of a greater mechanism. They do not yet realize that their efforts, repetitive, exhausting, mechanical, are shaping the foundation of the 20th century. Outside, the city's pulse is visible in smoke. Chimneys puncture the gray sky like iron fingers. Coal dust settles on windowsills. The air tastes faintly metallic. The Detroit River is crowded with traffic, barges, ferries, and lumber ships moving in slow procession toward Lake Erie. Along the docks, cranes swing overhead while steam engines hiss and clank. Rail lines snake down to the water, connecting the factories to distant markets. Only 20 years ago, this was a regional boat-building city. Now, its shipyards are being replaced by workshops turning out engines, tires, and parts for a new kind of vessel, the automobile. Downtown, the scene shifts from sweat and steel to glass and ambition. Along Woodward and Jefferson Avenues, ornate facades rise above the streetcars, marble banks, department stores lit by electric light, cafes filled with tobacco smoke and political talk. The city center feels alive and assertive, a young metropolis declaring its confidence in architecture. Shop windows glitter with brass fittings, clocks, and the chrome shine of early cars. For most citizens, owning one is still a dream, but every glimpse of a Model T feels like looking forward in time. On busy corners, newspapers flap in the wind with headlines about industry and invention. Posters advertise the state fair, boxing matches, and silent films at the Majestic Theater. Street vendors shout above the clang of trolleys selling roasted peanuts, hot coffee, and cigarettes. Newsboys weave through the crowds, calling out the latest about Ford's growing empire. And above all this human noise rises the electrical buzz of modern life: wires, lights, motion, ambition. If you wander away from downtown, Detroit becomes quieter and more personal. In the neighborhoods of Hamtramck, Poletown, and Corktown, life unfolds in dozens of languages. Polish families gather after church, German workers meet in beer halls, and Irish children chase each other through alleys paved with mud and cinders. Laundry flaps on clotheslines behind narrow wooden homes. The smell of bread, onions, and coal smoke mingles over the yards. Many here arrived only a few years ago, drawn by letters from cousins promising steady work in the city of Fords. They dream of buying their own small home, their own patch of land, and someday, maybe, a car. At the center of this new industrial myth stands the Piquette Avenue plant. Inside, hundreds of men in heavy aprons assemble the first Ford Model T cars by hand. Sawdust mixes with grease on the floor. The air is hot and metallic. Tools clatter, wheels spin, voices shout over the engine tests. Rumors drift through the workshop, stories of a new moving line that could make production faster than anyone imagines. No one yet understands that they are witnessing the invention of modern manufacturing itself.
As evening falls, electric lights flicker on across the city. Lamps glow along Jefferson Avenue, their reflections trembling on the dark surface of the river. Theaters light their marquees, Vaudeville Tonight, The Great Illusionist, while hotel lobbies buzz with travelers arriving by rail or steamboat. Couples stroll arm in arm past billiard halls and ice cream parlors. The soundscape changes, laughter mixing with music, hooves clopping on wet bricks, jazz seeping through open windows from the city's first clubs. Detroit at night feels expectant, as if it knows what it is becoming. In those same hours, thousands of factory workers trudge home through the cold. Their boots leave tracks across the frosted sidewalks. Faces are tired but proud. Hands are cracked from labor. They cross bridges over black water, watching smoke drift above the city's orange glow. These are the people who will build the engines, assemble the cars, and shape the rhythm of the new America, one machine at a time. By 1910, Detroit's population passes 400,000, triple what it was 2 decades earlier. The city spreads rapidly along new tram lines and bridges. Schools, churches, boarding houses, and saloons rise beside machine shops and foundries. The flat farmland around it vanishes beneath streets and rail yards. Signs painted in bold letters declare the names of companies that will soon define the age: Packard Motor Car Co., Detroit Electric, Dodge Brothers Works. In this mixture of smoke and optimism lies the DNA of the modern world. Winter transforms everything. Snow softens the noise, and coal smoke curls above rooftops into pale gray skies. Streetcars glow like orange lanterns in the cold. Inside, stoves crackle, and families huddle for warmth while the muffled thrum of factories continues across the river. Even in deep frost, Detroit does not sleep. Its heartbeat pulses through iron and fire. Summer, however, belongs to the people. Bands play in Belle Isle Park. Trolleys carry crowds to picnics along Lake St. Clair. Men remove their jackets, roll up their sleeves, and talk about pay raises and technological miracles. Children chase each other through alleys while ice wagons rattle by. In the humid air, the city smells of oil, tar, and flowers all at once, a scent uniquely its own, both beautiful and industrial. The future feels close enough to touch. Now, change comes faster than anyone can measure. Within a few short years, the moving assembly line will revolutionize how the world builds and lives. Detroit's factories will become engines of mass production, its population will double, and its skyline will rise in steel and glass. The Motor City will soon roar, and from its noise will emerge an entirely new America, faster, louder, and interconnected. But here, in 1910, that transformation is still only a whisper. Horses and automobiles share the muddy roads. Candlelight flickers beside electric bulbs. The city feels balanced between ages, suspended in the quiet before acceleration. Listen closely and you can almost hear it, the deep inhale before the century exhales in motion. This AI reconstruction captures that fleeting moment when Detroit stood between coal smoke and chrome, when dreams took the shape of machines, and when a city of workers became the beating heart of the modern world.